Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to your daily lighting critique. So we've got a bunch of still images. We've got a couple videos that are still uploading now. So we're going to start with the stills and then move over to the video. We'll start with those that are here. Dani, you're at the top of my screen, so we'll start with you. So we've got 3 submissions from you today. We've got your day version, your night version, and then we have a new robot from you based on this Lilo and Stitch reference, which is very, very pretty colors. Which, by the way, if you guys have not seen Lilo and Stitch, it is a weird movie. It has got a weird, because he's like, you're like, oh, he's super cute, and then you watch the movie like, he's a little monster. It's a weird story, but I dig it. I dig what they were trying to do. It was fun. Okay, let's start with these. So nighttime one, we got the shadow back. I think that's looking good. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it was just getting washed out by both lights, but it felt like it was floating a little bit.
Yeah, no, one of the lights got turned off, so it was missing.
Got it.
Should I bring back more shaping on the couch? On the
yeah, a little
closer
bit.
to the home.
And then again, we're back. The swords again now feel a little bit diffused and a little glowy.
I have a question for Dani. Are you still trying to match that initial reference, like not one to one, but
not as much? No.
You're just going. Okay, just wondering.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe we'll look at it again.
Do you guys see? Because I think this is pretty close, but I don't know if there's anything else.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll leave that one for now, and just leave those couple notes for the daytime one. So I think the main fill values are just flattening out too much. We're losing shaping in some of these values. Like if we look at the bookcases here, what we're seeing on this side versus what we're seeing on this side, they feel pretty similar in tone. I love, like I said, the spotlights coming down are looking really good. You've got those shadows looking softer. See, look, the swords are darker here than they are here. That seems not right. I'm not quite sure. They've always been janky. I don't know why. So I think that like this level of brightness on them makes sense in the other one. And it's also interesting that we're getting this much light back here, because it feels like it may just be the position of it. I guess it's more out than I think it is. Because I'm thinking about it being further, like just off camera, just up here, and like scraping down the wall, kind of coming down. And if it's coming down, then there should be more shaping on this mantle, and darkness back there, right?
Yeah. I think it's the fill that I put in that just blew everything out.
Yeah, I think it might just be a fill issue, because again, yeah, it's like we want to see some more shaping in the fill areas. So so work on that, and then I think we'll circle back on a few of these things, but that's good. Okay, let's hop over into the robot. So the big thing about this reference image is it's all color, right? It's all like purple, blue, really pretty. I really like the color. I think it's a really nice hue for night tone. It's not quite. It's like a magenta version of purple, which is really nice, and I think it's really good. Now the one thing, and it looks like you were kind of tackling it, was that there isn't. I guess it's the eye dings, but there isn't a big value shift between anything in this image. Like if I took away the color, and just looked at the value of this. Oh, that's not right. Like there's really not that, like it's pretty flat value wise. Like, and I think you can push that a little bit more than what we were seeing there in your image. So like, and I say that, and you do have some brighter elements in here. Now, if we're gonna see this much brightness here, I want to see more on the robot's face. Like I want to, because it's like that's a lot of light for moonlight. Like it's really powerful, And so I think that, and right now, yeah, I would almost want it to come in here and hit him, and then kind of rim her, and then allow this part of her to go darker, and then allow this stuff to go darker. Because again, if the light's just coming in there. So it's really just about light just kind of coming in this way and hitting up those few areas. But making, like, so, yeah, so for him, because kind of in this A-B lighting setup where you're looking over your shoulder at him a little bit, it's about one of the characters getting hit frontally with the key and one of them, and like normally it would be kind of on her backside here, but we don't have that luxury because there's the wall here and stuff. So it would be more about like playing up the rims on her a little bit and allowing her core value to go darker. Because in this shot, the way it's looking, it's more about the robot than it is her. So playing her down, just kind of rimming her, filling her, and then making the key light on him. Reflection on the window looks good. Like I said, I think you're getting the color in there really nicely. Eventually, we'll have to do more with what's outside the window, like a little more of an environment, because it is such like a large space. But yeah, so I would say simplify. I was gonna say simplify the lighting setup a little bit because there's a little bit too much going out with some fill value that's filling her in too much. So just get the key light in a really nice spot for the robot, and then maybe a secondary one for her. And then we'll just take a look at it from there, and then we'll start adding some fill so we don't get too filled in some of these interior areas there. Sound good?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Start there. Yeah, no problem. All right, Jordan, we got some concept painting art here. This is really cool. And these are really good. So I have a good friend. His name is Justin Gladys. Actually, let me pull up his website real quick. He does a lot of concept art. He does a lot of this type of work. And his big thing is doing a lot of like, he likes to look at everything as like thumbnail samples. And that's always kind of been his, maybe my internet's just being weird today. It's always just like about like drawing these, like making sure to look at everything as thumbnail sized before you kind of flush it out. So I always like to look at these like as a very small version of themselves, because like that's how you're reading value and that's how you're reading things, like the gross things. And I think this works out pretty well because there's a couple of areas that you have that are working. And that's getting this, like we talked about yesterday, getting the darker stuff to fall into the foreground, then like allowing the kind of haze to build up as we step back into space, but then using these lights sources to really get that stuff to pop out back there. So I think that's looking really good. It's funny about like some of the strokes in here feel almost like motion blurred, like they feel streaky in a way. Like this streak going across here, it just makes it feel like it's like if you ever did a long exposure photograph with like a pen light and you're just like moving it around, like it kind of feels like that. So it's an interesting set. But in terms of like tonality and that kind of things, I think it's starting to work well. It would be cool too to work. I'm trying to think if there's like a way to get more value shift to get our focus more in here. And that would be in two areas. One would be more along the sky, like getting some value changes up there in the sky, and then along this wall too, to kind of really center us in back there, and maybe a little bit more in the clouds and the kind of this misty, hazy element here. So like really bringing everything together to push our eye back into that space. How you feeling about this stuff? How's it going? Oh, you're muted. Wait, Jordan, you're muted. I can't hear you. Wait.
I love Justin's work. Like it just looks so put together and really inspiring as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just thinking like using composition studies to like learn how to maybe improve my own eye and improve my own work. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, no,
it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's just but like his big thing, and you can look up this practice of I think it's just called thumbnailing, where you do, you try and do like you time box them, like you try and do 1 a minute, and you have like you'll have a page laid out with just like, 3 by 2 squares, like really small squares, and then you'd spend 1 minute in each one, and you're just trying to like build a composition with like really with just value, like grayscale value, light to dark, just kind of like have an idea, dump it, go to the next one, and then like after 20 minutes and you do 20 of them, then you kind of sit back and you look at them, and you could start to see some good compositions emerge from that. But there's some really fun exercises that you can do from that. Like I was just doing a drawing class where we were doing it's called blind, I forget the term, it was like blind something, where you basically just like look at the object and you draw on your paper, and you'll allow yourself to follow the outline of it, to pick up some details, to like just basically do whatever your eye is doing and whatever you want to focus on, without looking at the page, and you can actually come up with some really cool results that way too. So
that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's a good like therapeutic meditative thing to do too. So that's good. All right. Cool. Let's see. So we got Danny, Jordan, Antonia. Let's see if these videos are loading. If not, I will just load them straight from Discord. But I do like to mark over top of them. I am. Oh, we got them. Here we go. Cool. All right, and then Aldair, I'll do yours next. So this looks really good out of the gate. I think this is I think like my first instinct to it is like these characters look good. Like that hologram looks phenomenal. I love the motion across them. I think all of that is working really, really well. There are a couple of areas that I do wonder if we could play around with. The first is I wonder if we can't make the outside a little bit brighter. Just like, because right now, let's see. There's two things. The exposure on the characters inside, like the dad is getting a lot of light from this way, and you can kind of see from outside that all the key light's kind of coming in from this side. And I don't know if that's a secondary like interior, if it's meant to be like a lamp or something, but I think that we can go with a little bit more directionality on him because he's kind of even from left to right, and just make it more about the light coming in from this way on both of them, and play down a little bit on the fill light, and that way that can all come together. And then there's I almost want there to be like a stop of exposure, more brightness outside than inside, just because like inside there's a little bit more, obviously they're covered in more areas. Outside is like fully exposed to the sun and sky, and also what that'll do is it'll make a little bit more of a dramatic shift when they do turn the screen on. So it's I'm not saying like it's super contrasty, but just like a half the value of the key side on the fill side, a little bit less than what we have now. And then when this pops on, because that's kind of surprising, right? Like it's surprising from the audience member. So you want to kind of like pop it out to the audience, and then it's like, and then this red light kind of comes on, and then they're kind of overly frontally lit from this thing, and it's and that's kind of cool. Oh, weird. I hit a hotkey that's making it just do that. Let's refresh. And then there are a couple of like specific things. I think both of their eye whites can get a little brighter, and I think the pages of the book can get a little bit brighter. But yeah, do you have any like? But other than that, like it looks really clean. There's not a lot of noise. I mean, that won't be cleaned up just by simply making it. Upping the samples in size maybe a little bit. Like, how are you feeling about this? This is looking really great.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. I had the background before. It was a little bit brighter.
Mm-hmm.
But when the hologram popped up, I was losing the value.
Mm. Oh, I see.
Because it was so bright outside.
Because you want the hologram to read.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So in that case, maybe it's just a matter of making like some of this on the like, because you kind of got here. Yeah, really, it's just more about like maybe getting some more fill light in some of these areas. But like I see what you're doing. Yeah, so let's isolate it to the screen right side, and then pretend like there's a cloud or something that's creating some shadow on the screen left side. But I do think there is an opportunity for a little bit more, just because behind them, if we get that a little bit brighter, we can make a little bit more glow, and that creates their darker values will be more like a silhouette against that.
Okay.
But I do totally. That's a really really good point about reading the silhouette or the hologram.
Okay.
Yeah, really great job with this. This is looking really fantastic. Does anybody else have any notes before we move on?
It looks so good.
Yeah, that's the main note. It looks so good.
Thanks.
All right. So let's. So next up we have Aldair. So this is his demo reel. So I wanna play it through once first, and then talk about it. He was just looking for some general notes on it. So I'll give both notes on the. Well, it'll mostly be the reel itself, and very little about the individual projects. But yeah, we'll just, like I said, I'll just let this play through first. Just a couple minutes here. I'll talk a little bit. I'll talk a little bit now too. So one of the things that's standing out to me about it, well, there's a couple things. One, some of these projects are really good. They're really cool. They're really strong. But I am feeling like everything. It's a unique style. It's not something that you see too often. But it's also like it feels very consistent with one another. It feels like there's kind of one note to the whole reel. Which is fine. Like there's maybe not a lot of diversity in your work yet. Like you said you were finishing up school, so this is so that is something that happens. But this all feels like it's from one project. And one of the things that I was thinking was that I would eventually like to see more range in your work. Not so much like because like a lot of this is just like the moving stills are cool, but like it would be nice to get more animation stuff. It would be nice to get more because the characters that are being used aren't they feel a little bit like I said, a little static and a little bit of the same style. It basically just like I would like to see you create a more wide variety of moods, because like this all kind of feels like it has the same. So like maybe something a little happier, maybe something a little bit more feeling something other than this kind of like really dramatic, kind of dark, gritty thing. Now, if you were applying for a specific company that like is working on this type of project, they would go nuts for this demo reel. They would be so pumped. Like this had, and that's the thing about it. Like if this was the job that you wanted, that, and I don't even know, maybe it was like, I'm trying to think of an example. If it would be like a movie based on a video game that was like a similar look to this, then they would be like, yes, we want in. The other thing that I was going to say about this was that let's see. Well, one thing about your title card, and this is going to sound really dumb, it feels a little imbalanced to me if I sit back from it. Like the name is it feels like a little shifted to the left. Your email and everything at the bottom is shifted to the right. The logo is cool, but like everything kind of feels a little askew. I would just like tighten it up and just make it like a nice center, like everything's centrally balanced and like right down the middle. I also don't think the stuff that you put first is your best. I think that we can redo this shuffle a little bit. I think this is, I think it's okay. Like I don't think this is your best character work, and I think that those two out of the gate set my bar a little lower when I was first looking at this. I think that some of this stuff, like I think this is stronger. Maybe not this one. This one's cool. It's okay. This one's neat. Because it kind of, like, it's much more comic booky, animated style that I like. This one, the characters feel a little, like, Her teeth feel very gray. He feels a little bit like everything feels a little bit chunky, like it's weird geo. This one's really pretty. Lots of pretty colors in there. This one's the same thing with the other one. Where it's kind of like the Uncanny Valley thing, where they look kind of photoreal, but like also they look like there's something missing. Like there's something missing from them, which is a little tough. But that one's cool. That one's cool. But yeah, I think this shot looks good. You can leave that one at the end. I think that looks good at the end. I think this one, maybe this one, or this one should be moved up to the front. Let's see if we can pick one. Do you guys have a preference? Maybe this out of the gate would be good. Yeah, what do you guys think?
The car also really has the cool effect with the surrounding.
Yeah, I think this one looks the best with the style that you're going for. Jordan, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I really love. There was like those 2 car ones that were like, I think
Like these two?
that one, the with the gold, with like the gold sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it so much. Like that. To me, it looks straight out of a cinematic somewhere on YouTube, like a huge like trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because your work is good. Like you've got really good work in here. There are a few I would consider taking out. Like this one.
Looks like it wasn't rendered enough.
Right, like it doesn't look up to the same quality as some of the other ones. Like this one, I would actually take out. This one's cool because it shows like you have an ability to do like the HUD stuff, the heads-up display, and some other things. So I would leave that in. I would just put it in the middle. This one's cool.
I think you can move him the shot with the guitar.
Yeah,
it looks really good, and it's also good for like breaking up the same of all the shots.
You think you should move this one?
Yeah, I think it should move up. I really like it.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's cool. Just interesting how bright these characters back here are getting. But, this one's good. This one, I'm not that crazy about. I think I would take out this one. I think there's like some, like the scale of the stop feels off to me. The dark values in the building feel a little off to me. Like there's not enough, like it feels a little bit like a miniature set. Yeah, the rest of these are good. But yeah, I would encourage you. I think this is a really, really strong start to your demo reel, and I think that if you found the right fit, you could get a job at a company that was doing a similar look than this. I would encourage you, as you're doing the work with the Academy, we've got tons of assets for you to download, and you can play with different styles and try different techniques and use the stuff that you're clearly really good at, and just try and use them in different ways, and then it'll give you more versatility. It'll make you more able to apply for various things, and I think that would be really cool. All right, great. So let's hop back into the stills. I think we have everyone. I think we covered everyone that had submitted before. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So this is Ayako has updated the Leonardo DiCaprio cowboy reference one. Ooh, you put more textures on these back things. That's cool. Beer looks better. His belt dropped a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, that wood texture on the bar, super subtle but great. Makes a big difference. I think this looks good. I think the last thing that we would do is just some eye work. I think that the brown of the eye can get brighter, so we can, because right now it's blending in with the pupil. So I think that can go a little brighter, and then let's see, and then I would just put in a little eye ding. Maybe not that little. That's a little bright and a little, but you get the idea. I would just put a little eye ding in there from the key light. I'm also wondering if the skin might be a little bit saturated. Just play with that. Like I think that level on the skin, mix it in. Like just a touch of saturation out of the skin, I think would help out a lot there too. But other than those two things, I think it's good. I think you're all set. Does anybody else have any thoughts, any notes, any additions or modifications to this? I'm sorry?
I'm just here to cheer.
Okay. Yeah, we need to figure out a way because the if you like something, I encourage people because I do that. I'm like anything to change and everyone's quiet and like that's a really bad way to celebrate things. Yeah. All right, cool. So great job, really good.
Maybe the glass material.
What's that?
Glass material.
Oh yeah. What are you thinking about it? Like how would you improve it?
Well, I don't know if you can zoom in a little.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I thought it was more like metallic.
Oh yeah, no, I could see that. Yeah, it's good because it's like it's got this nice the IOR, the refraction on the bottom is different. Like it feels pretty good. All right, cool. Let's hop us with Danny. We got Jordan. We got a couple from Pearl.
Actually, on the on the last one too, on the cowboy one, maybe like having eye dings as well. That would help.
Yeah. We're gonna throw in some little eye dings and getting that pupil to separate from the iris would be really good. Yes, thank you. All right. So Pearl, we've got a couple submissions here. Let's start here. I love the texture on the rice and the shader that you've got. You've got like a little subtle subsurface going on there. I think that works really well. You're getting a good job of like focusing the eye in here. I do think maybe we could go a little darker around the edges here. For the sushi roll, I want to just see some more darker values in there. Like it feels a little bit lifted. And I'm wondering if like having just a little bit more of it should be a matter of like just like really kind of getting some of the darker values in the wrap in the sushi would be good because it feels a little dusty lifted and that'll make it feel a little bit more because the sushi wraps are a little bit like the darkness, like the green color has a lot of richness to it and picks up a lot of the specularity, so getting that dark value down would help that. And then these the glowing lights, it's good that there's a little bit in the center. I'm not believing that the glow around it, like, I still feel like the hard edge of the oval, and I think we can soften that a little bit. So maybe look for some reference of like Christmas lights or something for the next iteration, because I think that those would match that a little bit better. Yeah, I think that's good for now. And then for this one, it's interesting. I do feel like it's a little bit on kind of the pink magenta side. Like if I just pull that out a little bit and add a little more green, you can see some of that some of that starts to neutralize a little bit. I just think that like it for this time of day, that color doesn't make, because it feels like that would be more if it was like sunset, where this time of day it's more the sun's coming down, which actually would produce warmer, more red yellow hues. And then I just want to, and I also just kind of want to figure out how to get some more shaping in here, because I do like I do like the brightness of it. I just feel like, again, in the fill areas, we're losing some shaping. Like there's not like a lot of contact shadow between her veil and her neck. Like these values seem lifted to a point. Like it would be nice to get some more darkness in some of these like more recessed cavities in here. And then like, cause you've got some good bounce light coming out. It's just going a little bit too, it's just penetrating too many areas and starting to fill in some of the shadows over what they kind of, what it would be to create some more shaping. Yeah, I think, and then there's some things like, I'm a little confused about the depth of field in the flowers on the left here, because they feel very, very blurry, but I also am getting these like cutouts of something. So I'm not quite sure. I don't know if those are the same flowers or if there's like two tiers of them, but like that blurriness is kind of throwing me for a loop a little bit in terms of like reading the space. But yeah, I would work on that and see where we go from there.
Mike, I have a question about this one.
Uh-huh.
So on the screen left, you have the shadow line going all across the wall.
Yep.
So would that affect also the baskets that are behind her? Because it seems like there's light on her, and then there's a drop behind.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, it depends on how much of a space there is between those baskets and the wall. Because I can be convinced, but I think you're right. I think putting some, yeah. So if this light is coming down here, maybe it's a matter of just scooting this one over a little bit, having that look down here, and then but still that would cut these off a little bit, and then put some of this in shadow, and then also like the ground back here would go into shadow as well. That's a really good point, because that line isn't necessarily matching up to the lighting in the environment as well.
I'm noticing it looks like there's a light that's coming from like the camera and hitting the flowers because it's like casting that shadow on the wall. And to me, I mean, I'm not sure if I'm like it confuses me that there's a shadow there, but the light's coming from the ceiling.
Are you saying here? This one?
Yeah, is that casted from the plant in front?
Oh, you see, I thought it might be something off camera casting it down this way, but yeah. Maybe
I'm not sure.
I don't know either, because I think if it's coming down this much, we probably wouldn't see that, right? Because it would be like, that means the sun is high up in the air, and like in order to see this, we'd almost have to see the flowers right here on camera, which I guess maybe they are there, but yeah, that's definitely something to look into.
I think they're behind the foreground ones.
Yeah,
like the ones.
It's hard to tell because like
hard to see, but yeah.
But that being said, I do like that there's a shadow of something there and not just lines. I think that helps break it up and makes the space feel a little bigger. Good call. All right, now we have Ruby. So this is the original reference from one of the Jurassic movies. I forget which one. And then we got the previous version and the update. So yeah, we talked about adding a little bit of haze that centralizes. Behind that, that's kind of like what we're seeing back here. That's really cool. Toning this down to kind of, because this was kind of clipping out a little bit. I think the haze looks really good. I think it's a really smart solution for this. I do think this could maybe come back a little bit in the brightness. But that being said, I do think that you're definitely, I don't usually like to linger too long on these first challenges because they're just about like getting you to read reference and understand where you're looking at and adjusting some notes. So I think just making that a little bit brighter would be good, and then I would encourage you to move on to the next one, because like the other notes that I would have would be like adding more specularity in here because I can see how like kind of sweaty and wet her skin looks, and then trying to match that. But I think that's looking pretty good. I do want to hop to Oh wait, Stephanie had it? Oh yeah, Stephanie had it. So, just because they're similar projects. Again, original reference, the old version, and then the update. I think it's looking a lot better. I like getting the shaping in here. I like adding a little bit of like more influence of this onto the space. Usually, like, like having a double shadow there may not be the best, but I think it makes sense with like the environment shadow of like the moon, and then this thing casting a shadow as well. I think that works out well. I do wonder if we couldn't. Let's look at the reference. I do wonder if we couldn't just soften the shadows a little bit, just because like we're getting a little bit of a hard shadow there, but it is pretty soft, and like just so they're not quite as definitive. But same deal with rubies, where it's like I just wanted you to get a feel for it, looking at reference, getting the colors right, getting your head wrapped around it, not spend too much time on these because these are just like the launching off point and really moving you on to some other projects. So I would just say soften that up a little bit, and then you can call this done and move on to the next section. So both of you guys really good job with these. Both are really strong. And the next step we have T. So this is the reference. This is this. So color's looking a lot better. I still think that we have room to go. Just from the storytelling standpoint, I do like that we're creeping some of this light in here. I do think we can go darker in this region and really kind of, because again, this, because my thought is that this cooler light, this blue, purple, magenta light is coming from the outside, right? Its source is the moonlit sky. And so that feels like it would be coming in from here, where really a lot of this is being hit from this frontal area, which I guess is what's happening in this. My guess is that when they lit this, they added like a big softbox inside the room to kind of fill in some of the cooler areas. But once that translates into here, it feels like it's being overly lit from inside the room. What do you guys think? Does that seem right?
The girl is being lit by the robot, right?
Yeah, I guess because that would make sense with the colors, because these lights are much more neutralized, which is that.
Yeah. So I think definitely you can turn down the lamps a bit and then kind of vignette it so that push the focus on to the characters.
Yeah. Also, softening these lights a lot would help. Because it's like these very hard edge lines definitely draw the eye. Toning those down, getting some of that, and then like really, yeah. It's also like if these are a major light source, like causing that much light on her, I just want them to get brighter overall. Just kind of feel like they're glowing a little bit. I should do it this way. Right, so brighter, and then like making it feel like it's glowing.
Can you put maybe like volumetric on them so that it
something. Yeah,
pours.
That could definitely help. But like, because at this point they're almost acting like headlights or a flashlight or something, right? And so when you're looking at that, you can you can see a little bit of a, because the light source wouldn't, maybe not, depending on what it is, may not be this big. It would maybe more be like a smaller thing in the middle, like a small LED, like. So yeah, because the way that flashlights or headlights work is that they are, there's like a curved back, and there's actually like a little light bulb that shines this way and then refracts off of this, and then all the light comes out this way. So there's like a brighter core and then like variation in values and things like that. So I'm wondering, so basically my point by that was that there is more variation, like in this larger shape. You would see some areas of brighter and some areas of darker. But I think overall, before we get into that, I think that this is like a classic lighter problem where you're just like, there's just too many sources, right? There's the lamps, there's the exterior light, there's this additional interior fill of that cooler color, and now we've got this robot casting light. I think what Dani was saying is right, which is like, let's simplify it and really figure out like what is driving the focus of the audience? Is it like what's our main thing? Is it the light outside the window? Is it the lamp, or is it the robot? And then from there we can build the structure of the shot, because what's happening right now is all three of them are competing too much. 3 or 4 of them are competing too much, and then like we're not getting we're not going to get the focus and the results that we're going to look for. So for the next iteration, I think you know what, you could even do this. I would be happy to take a look if you want to. And we've done this in the past, where if you like want to render out a pass with just the lamps, and then render out a next pass with just the purpley cool exterior light, and then just a pass of the lights that are going out from the robot. I can take them in a nuke, and we can start balancing them a little bit and see and kind of play with some ideas and see which way we want to go. Yeah, cool. Let's do one last check. I see this. The lighting work in progress and feedback channel is glowing, which means there may be one more. Yes, Justin added this guy. All right.
Mike, I want to say one more thing about the lamps.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that there's a light bulb that is on, so maybe you could play around with the material so that you can get light coming from it.
That's a really good point too. Yeah. Like there's not, because like when you see a lamp, there's like that, you see the bulb underneath the translucent shade.
In her reference, you can see it amazingly.
Yeah, because shades aren't meant to block the light; they're meant to diffuse the light by allowing some of the light to penetrate through. Okay. All right, I will open this one up to the floor. How are you all feeling about Mr. Bean here?
He looks amazing.
I think he looks great.
Yeah, I think so.
There's some things that you can get away with the asset because he's so strange looking. You know what I mean? Like he's just kind of goofy. Like I like that there's this, because normally when you do a portrait, you would see it more like this, right? Like his head would go closer to the top. But I like that. Oh, not like that. Like I like that there's a little weird amount of breathing room up above him. Right? Like it feels, it makes it feel goofy. It makes it feel like more like something wacky is happening.
I think that also the composition might match the reference, but I don't remember for sure.
That's just because Cillian Murphy is a little man like, you know, like I think he's shorter than I am. So, but yeah, I think everything else is looking good. I mean, only again super minor stuff is like you kind of in an ideal world you want these items to be in about like in the same like 2 o'clock spot. I think this one is perfect. I think this one's a little bit too at like the 12 o'clock position. I would just like I tilted my hand, but it's more like shifting it over to the side and just a little bit more, just so they're both like both kind of in that perfect thing. But everything else I think looks great. I would call this one done. Yay! Yay! All right. Yay! All right. I need to get like, yeah. We used to have in rounds when we ship shots, we'd have like noisemakers and stuff, so it would be like a celebration.
Yeah, should have a sound effect like the clap.
Like I need something on my desk. Like just my wife would love that. All right. Well, I think that is all for today. Do you guys have any questions about anything before we head in to the Friday, to our last day of the week? I think you're all doing great. Really, like, you guys are killing it. You're doing great stuff. Yeah, this is fun. This is fun every day. And so thanks again for letting me sit out a day yesterday and just do a written critique. It was very much appreciated. I would have died on camera yesterday, and it would have been an ugly thing. So thank you guys so much. All right.
Thank you.
I will talk to you all very soon.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.